Hello.
Good morning. Morning, Andy. You all
Mo-
right?
I'm very well, thanks. Emma, how are you?
Yes, very good, thank you.
It's good to be back, isn't it?
It is indeed. I was not here for last month's one, so this is actually my first one of the year.
I know. Yeah. It was before
Mhm.
Christmas, wasn't it? Our
It
last
will have
one.
been, yeah, yeah, the
Yeah.
last one we did together. Mhm.
Um, well, thanks everybody for joining this morning. Welcome to another HubSpot masterclass with myself, Andy Gibbons, and we've got Emma as well joining us this morning. And as you can see on screen, we're going to be talking today about HubSpot Starter. Okay. If any of you have ever come to one of our previous webinars, we have focused primarily on tools, some of the more premium tools of HubSpot. For those that don't know, HubSpot has 4 levels of access. We have free, starter, professional, and enterprise. Okay. You really get the most out of HubSpot on professional and enterprise. So we focused on that heavily. But we received a bit of feedback last year. And one of the things that people wanted to hear more of is how to get more from the starter platform without having to invest in the premium pricing of HubSpot Professional. So Emma's got loads of stuff to go through today, haven't you?
I do indeed.
Yeah. So there's loads of stuff that you can get from HubSpot Starter. So perfect for businesses that have the starter platform, might not be getting the most out of it. People that are just using the free tool currently, considering upgrading. Also, as well, and I've spoken to a lot of businesses already this year about actually looking at a CRM as well, and actually
Mm.
not, and they feel that maybe been using Excel spreadsheets or something like that for a little while, and looking for, kind of an entry level um, solution into a CRM. This is going to be perfect for you as well. So there's lots to cover. Plan as always is to finish at 11 o'clock. Okay. I'm not going to hang around too much because I know Emma's itching to get
Mm.
going and go through everything. But I would like to, we are going to stick around afterwards. So if anyone's got any specific questions that comes up, please ask as we go along, and we'll try and answer them as we go. But if we don't get a chance to, we'll stick around at the end and make sure every question will be answered as well. Okay. So it'd be good if we can just check that the chat is live. So what I'd like to ask everybody is simple yes or no question. Are you using HubSpot, or are you not using HubSpot currently? I think that'll give us a good insight in as to what people are using. Okay.
A couple of each by the sounds of it, a few using and a few not.
Yeah, not looking yet. It's about 50-50, I think. I think not a lot
Mm.
of people.
Quite a few starter users as well.
Yeah, currently being set up. So actually, I think the vast majority are using HubSpot, but there's plenty of people that aren't either as well, which is good to
Mm.
hear. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be great for everybody. So as always with this, obviously, some of you may or may not know JDR as a business. I'd always like to start with a little bit of an introduction as to who we are, just so you understand who we are effectively. As you can see, we are a marketing agency. Okay, we are an inbound marketing agency, established for, this is our 21st year of trading now. We've been working with HubSpot for 12, 13 years. I've used it every day in that period as our CRM. We've been partners with HubSpot for well over 10 years now as well. Today, we're one of their elite partners, okay, which we're in our 3rd year now of becoming an elite partner, which basically means we're in the top 1% of their partners globally based on industry expertise. And there's kind of 3 main ways in which we help clients. First of all is set up, onboarding, implementation. I noticed a few people in the comments there saying that they were just setting it up HubSpot or haven't got a CRM currently. If you do purchase HubSpot, we can help set it all up for you. Okay, we've got a team that can help a lot with that. Emma heads that up. Okay, and we can really get the platform working how you want it to work. Also, as well, if you've got it and aren't getting the most out of it, we can also help with that as well. Okay. I've had numerous discussions already this year on re-onboarding projects. So businesses that have maybe had it for 6 months, a year, 18 months, 2 years, and just aren't feel they're getting the most out of it. And we've just stripped it all back and providing some training, some consultancy, some new project work as well. So there's lots of ways in which we can help in that regard. And finally, which is probably our day to day. A lot of you that might be on this call might be a client of ours in this, is we are an outsourced marketing department for small to medium sized businesses. Okay, so we provide an inbound marketing agency service where not only do we have the resources in house to create a strategy from a marketing perspective, but we've got the resources in house to execute it. So whether that's building a website for you, whether it's managing your social media, whether it's improving your SEO, writing your content, we've got a whole content writing department as well. There's lots and lots of different ways in which we can help. So as always with this, if you do want to have a conversation about any of those three areas in which we can help, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a link to my diary in the chat. Okay. Some of you may already have had a conversation or meeting with me before, but if you do want to set up a call, feel free. There's a link. It's going to come in the chat in just a sec. Choose a time that works for me, works for you, sorry. And yeah, book a time. I look forward to speaking to you soon. So that's the intros out the way. That's the housekeeping and the admin done. I'm going to hand over to Emma. Okay. And she is going to go through a lot now. Let me pop that link in the chat.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Andy.
It's all right.
So yeah, the starter bundle is the main thing that we're going to be talking about today. And when I say the bundle, what I mean is HubSpot has those 4 levels that Andy spoke about, but it also has these 5 different hubs. Now, the best value way of getting starter on HubSpot is to get the starter version of all of the hubs. They massively discount it if you've got all of them. So we would very, very rarely recommend that clients only have Sales Hub Starter or Marketing Hub Starter. In 99% of cases, you're going to get the bundle that has all of them in there if you're on Starter. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be dipping into tools from a few of the different starter hubs to kind of get the most value from all of those, really. So the first thing that you are going to want to do, whether that is that you have just started using HubSpot, you're not using it yet, or even if you are a little further down the line, is you're going to want to tailor your HubSpot account to fit with your business and how you individually want to use it. And that's going to be different for every single person on this call. So the first thing that you can set up within HubSpot to really tailor it is what we call properties. I'm just in my demo account here. And the great thing about HubSpot is that you can set up custom properties for anything that you want to track. So let's say you wanted to track the industry that someone was in, or whether you have kind of vertical markets, anything like that. What you can do is you can come over into the properties. So we just come into the settings cog up at the top, and then we find properties down the left-hand side. That will bring you to this screen, and we can create completely bespoke properties. You can call that anything that you want to. I've got a lot of test properties in this account. And then there's all different types of fields you can have here. So whether that's that you want a drop down for people to be able to choose from, whether that's a date field, whether that's just a free text entry field, you can have properties for all of the different things you want to track so that the CRM is completely customized and has the information in it that is most important to your business individually. And that makes it really, really easy to see what you're after there.
Absolutely. Also, point of note is that the property fields you can have up to 1,000 custom properties. Okay,
on starter, yeah.
On starter, it's exactly the same as professional. There's
Yeah.
no additional benefit to having a professional field for properties and stuff. So, if you're on a free account, okay, you are limited. I can't remember how many
I think
it
it's
is.
10 on
It is
a
10.
free account.
Yeah.
It's really
So,
limited.
but having the starter bundle is such a huge impact just to change from that
To
side.
be
So
able
really
to
good.
customize these, yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So yeah, you'll definitely want to be thinking about what information do you want to be logging about people in your system. Start from that point and work backwards, and there will be loads and loads of things that you can create in here. The other thing that you're able to customize within your starter account is your sales pipeline. So again, this is just a dummy one that we've got set up, but these individual stages of a deals pipeline, the default ones are never particularly useful. Okay, the default ones are a very generic sales process designed to show you vaguely what it looks like. You will always want to customize this to the steps of your individual sales process. So all you need to do that is go into the deals over here to board options and just edit the stages. From there, you can call these stages whatever you want. You can have as many or as few as you want. You can even set up deal probabilities at various different stages as well. What that's going to do is if you've got a deal in this car inquiry received in this example, that's got a 10% chance of being won, and it's then going to weight the value of that deal for you. And it's going to do that completely automatically based on the probability that you set here. By customizing the deals pipeline in this way, by having those individual stages that follow the stages of your process, and then the weightings you can see down here that follow roughly how likely they are to close at each of those stages, this allows you to start really looking ahead and forecasting what you're doing, and just having that full visibility on everything that's happening from a sales perspective within your business is such a major benefit of HubSpot, having this set up and customized and getting in the habit of using this kind of as your CRM. And this is always one of the first things I recommend people that are new to HubSpot to do, is to set up this pipeline and start customizing that to your individual sales process.
Absolutely. You get two as well with Starter, two pipelines,
Yes.
15 with Pro. So,
Yeah,
but as I say, keep it simple is probably the main thing, isn't it?
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, as much as you can. The final
Oh,
thing that,
sorry, but before you go on, I've just noticed
sorry, go
Jason has
ahead.
asked where you can see if you're on free, starter, professional, or enterprise.
Great question. So all you'll need to do is click on your little name at the top and then go into account and billing, and it will have all of your subscriptions
There's a
in there,
subscription
whatever
tab.
it's on.
I think it's the second one along. It will tell you
Yeah,
what you've got.
yeah. So you'll be able to see all of that in there. Fantastic. Um, the final element where you can really start to tailor your HubSpot account to what you want it to be is the view section. And this is where you start to be able to see the information you want as you want it. So within this, you have your contact view, for instance, and I have lots of different columns within here. But let's say I've set up some custom properties that I really want to see regularly. All I need to do is edit my columns here. I can add in new properties. So let's add in our favorite color property, for instance. Just tick them on here. I can even drag these around if I want this up at the top. Can pop that in. I can now access that from this area. And what I can do is I can go ahead and add this as a view to enable me to very quickly get back to this set of filtered down or columns that I'm looking for. So I've got a couple of default ones set up here. I've got one where there's a filter on it to only show the contacts that I am the owner of. Got another one to show all of the contacts that don't have an owner in the account. So that really enables me to start filtering down and showing me the information that I want to, but in a really quick and accessible way through these kind of saved views at the top. There are a load of HubSpot provided ones as well here, so you can also get it to pull through any recently assigned, all that sort of thing. But this is a great way of starting to get on top of all of the data that's within your CRM and really see things in the way that makes most sense to you.
Couple of questions. Just on
Yeah,
the deal percentage that you talked about. Dan
yeah.
was asking whether whether you can adjust the percentage likelihood on individual opportunities, or is it just fixed by deal stage?
So on the starter version, it is going to be fixed by deal stage. There are some fancy things you can do on the more pro versions with custom probabilities and weightings and that sort of thing. But on the starter version, yeah, it's just the different
Yeah.
stages, unfortunately. Fantastic. Okay,
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. And that's just having some challenges with speakers. But yes, it is being recorded. This is so
and we'll send it round
it will
afterwards.
all get sent around once it's finished processing and stuff.
Absolutely. Okay. When it comes to tailoring your HubSpot account, then remember that if you're going to want to filter by anything in this view, let's say you only want to see the people whose favorite color is yellow, you are going to need a property to filter that on. So anything that you want to be able to break your data down by, it's going to need a property to be able to do that. But that goes hand in hand with this next tip, which is that on Starter, all of your custom properties are going to need to be manually filled out. You have to consider the fact that someone, whether that's you or whether that's the salesperson, is going to have to input values into all of those properties. I think people can get overexcited with the custom properties sometimes,
Yeah.
create a big long list of 100 different things they want to track about someone. But actually, if you're not filling those out, they might as well not be there. So just be sensible and think about what the most important pieces of information are going to be and set those up as the custom properties.
I probably shouldn't have said you get 1,000 custom properties.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't use all 1,000 straight
Yeah.
away. Start simple and build from there. And the same is true with the deal stages as well. I always recommend to just think the top line default steps of your sales process. There are always going to be exceptions to that rule, but try to keep it really simple and just look at those top line. This happens and then this happens in 80% of cases. Try and streamline it as much as possible there. Okay. So the next thing to move on to, and I know we are getting a couple of questions there. Some of these we might have to come back to
Yeah.
at the end, guys, if you just bear with us on that. Um, I want to make sure we have time to talk about the simple automation that you can do on Starter because
Mm.
this is such a good feature. When I started using HubSpot, this wasn't available on Starter. It's only within the last
Mm.
3 or so years that they've enabled this at all on Starter, and I think it's criminally underused by people with the Starter accounts.
I
What
think it's
this
also a bit of a
enables,
misconception as well, in the sense that a lot of people think that automation only is in the professional and enterprise
exactly,
levels as well, which just isn't the
yeah,
case now.
and it's starting to trickle down. Exactly. So what Starter allows you to do is to be able to set up simple automations off the back of a form submission, which is going to be a lot of the triggers that you want for things anyway, is going to be when someone has submitted a form on your website. You can do up to 10 simple actions in these workflows. That gives you loads and loads of possibilities of kind of some basic nurturing and follow up that you can put in place after someone has filled out a form on your site. So let's have a little look at what that looks like. Let's just close some of these other tabs down. So what I've got here is I'm within the Forms tool in HubSpot. I've set up a form. And you've got this tab called Automation. Now, this is going to enable you to build out some simple automations off the back of that specific form. So if someone is to submit this new form that I have created, I have set this one up so that it's going to delay for 10 minutes, give them a minute to breathe, and then it's going to send them a follow-up email. Now, this might be that you're acknowledging their request for a quote. It might be that you're delivering a bit of content to them. Anything like that can be fully automated. You can even get this to create a task for you. So let's say you wanted to follow up with everyone that has put this in and you want to be automatically reminded to do that. HubSpot can remind you to do that as well through these simple automations. So it's just taking that mental load away and allowing for that kind of just happen automatically. Can then delay for another few days, send another follow-up, etc., etc. So this really gives you the ability to nurture people off the back of their actions on your website. It can remind you to do individualized follow-up, but it can also ensure that every single person that fills out a form on your website gets a response from you immediately with what they've requested or with more useful content around the area that they've suggested. There's so much power in this, and it's so simple to set this up. So I think this is something that anyone with a starter account should be looking into setting up the basics of these simple automations here. Where this can really be used is, like I said, for creating tasks, reminding you to do things when someone has filled out a form on your site, sending out kind of acknowledgements of those submissions, And then also that basic nurture. We did a whole webinar a few months ago around a full marketing automation strategy looking at Marketing Pro. And for a lot of people, that's too much to start with. You don't necessarily need all of that to begin with, but you want to start taking those first steps into marketing automation and into nurturing your leads. This is a great way of doing that and being able to send related content over email to people that have shown an interest on your website. So it's something I would definitely recommend looking at. Okay. The other thing that HubSpot Starter does really, really well is it integrates with your existing tools. HubSpot always say that they are not an all-in-one platform, they're an all-on-one platform. So even though HubSpot Starter isn't going to be able to do everything that you need it to do, it does have the ability to integrate with lots of other tools so that if you're running other things within your business, you can pull that in and integrate through the starter version. So for instance, let's say you wanted to do your email marketing through another platform like MailChimp, you could integrate that in to HubSpot Starter so that all of the data that you're getting on MailChimp will automatically come into HubSpot. All of your HubSpot contacts will go into MailChimp. They're talking to each other. This can be great if you're not ready to take that next step up to professional and you've got existing technology and tools that you're using, but you want to start using the HubSpot CRM. It's 100% worth looking at whether there are some integrations there. The really nice thing about HubSpot is that it has an enormous app marketplace. So you get to this just through the little marketplace area at the top, come into the apps, and there are almost 2,000 different apps available on here for loads and loads of different tools that you will be using day to day. Whether that is Google Ads, Slack, MailChimp, LinkedIn, Outlook contacts, all of these tools that are going to be day to day in your business, HubSpot can talk to and pull that data to and from and work alongside, which just adds a huge amount more power into your HubSpot account. Whether that be the data or the functionality from these other
Absolutely.
platforms.
You also, with the starter bundle, you get with operations, this one in the operations hub with the starter bundle, you get custom field mappings
Yeah,
as well, which because a lot of those will be, you can get them on the free tool,
yeah,
and but obviously it's just standard mapping of fields, whereas with the starter you get the custom stuff as well.
yeah, absolutely. Claire's just asked if you can integrate with DocuSign. Yes, there is an integration with DocuSign. I have seen that one before. So yeah, you can do that. And Emma has also asked, is there a cost for the apps? It depends on what the other platform is, but there's no cost for the actual connection itself in most cases. Obviously, if it's like a MailChimp type tool, you might be paying a subscription on that platform as well. But for the actual connection, that's included in HubSpot.
I think there are some other questions and stuff. Let me go back here. Have we got time to go through them? So, and Hannah's actually quite a good question with company properties and contact properties.
Mm.
Is there a way to automatically match the contacts industry to the company? So, like, if you've got a company property, can that be automatically
Copied over.
copied over to a
It's a
contact
great
property?
question. I know it's possible on professional.
Right. Yeah, I've done it on professional. Yeah.
Whether that's possible on starter now, I'm not 100% sure. The thing to look at to get the answer to that question, Hannah, is to look up sync properties on HubSpot and see if those brand new sync properties are available on the starter versions or on the professional only. So either Andy, we can have a quick look at that now, or Hannah,
Yeah.
that's worth doing a bit of research on to see if that's possible.
I'll have a little look now.
Okay. Noel also asked if I want to import contacts from Excel into HubSpot, does that mean that I don't necessarily have to preset the properties in advance? Yeah, that's exactly right. You might not need to preset those properties. You might be able to then update that once it's already in HubSpot, or it may be easier to do it on Excel beforehand. It's entirely up to you there. Okay, I'm going to move on. I think there might have been a couple of questions
Yeah.
I've missed there, but I'm going to keep
We'll
moving
come
and we
back.
will come back to any we've missed at the end. I want to go through some of the reporting and dashboards that are available on HubSpot. So on Starter, you do get access to a lot of out-of-the-box dashboards. ready built and ready made for you. So you can see here a list of some of these, and there are tons and tons of different ones that each have 8 or 9 reports already on that kind of are going to help you to see your data really visually. The ones that we always recommend are the ones that are focused around the marketing and the sales. The lead generation one is really good, understanding how many leads you're getting, where they're coming from. The marketing channel performance one is really interesting to understand how different areas of your marketing are performing, whether that be landing pages, social media, or anything like that. And then the website analytics one, again, never used to be available on Starter, but is now. So you can actually see data that you would normally have to go into something like Google Analytics to get, which is now even more difficult now they've changed Google Analytics to make it even harder to see the data. You can just see that within HubSpot through these website analytics and the website visits dashboards that are just out of the box default. So that's something, again, that I would recommend everyone sets up a few of these default reports. And the sales one as well. So I missed that one there. This basic sales one, also really, really good. You also have the option to have out of the box reports in HubSpot. So not a full dashboard, but an individual report. So some of my top recommendations on that are going to be this one here. So if you do a search for contact created totals and look for this report, totals by day. Now, what you can do on all of these reports is you can add filters in. So even though you can't do fully custom bespoke reporting on Starter like you can on the Pro Hubs, you can still filter things down. So if I want to filter this and just see all of the contacts that have come from my social media, for instance, I can put a really simple filter on for original source, find my social media, and then it's going to filter that down. I don't have any in this portal from social media. Filter that down and allow me to see just my social media ones. And I can even then save that with those filters applied to be able to get back to this report really quickly. So playing around with those filters allows you to make these out of the box reports a lot more customized to what you might be wanting to see, and to start really slicing and dicing and segmenting that data down a little bit as well. Using those filters. You can also do this on the date range as well, change that around if you want to. It's really, really good. The other one I always recommend, which again is available on all accounts, is going to be this report here. This report gives you a really nice kind of journey through your website. So it goes from sessions into new contacts, into brand new customers, and you can see how that's growing and developing over time. This even has a comparison on it, so that if you wanted to look, I know we're looking all time on this one, let's say we wanted to look at this month, it's then going to compare that to the previous month. I've got no data there. I can then start doing those comparisons and seeing how things are developing on my website. Again, completely out of the box, ready to go. You can save this down on your dashboards and start using this with literally like 2 clicks to get so much valuable insights. They always say what isn't measured can't be improved, and HubSpot allows you to do that measuring and get the data you need to then start driving things forward as well. The other one that I really like is this one here. This one really focuses on how you're getting on with your lead follow-up. So how many contacts have you been created? How many of those have now got an owner? How many of those have you communicated with? Have you created any deals off the back of that? And have you won any business? Again, it gives you that journey all the way through from new people coming in, what are you doing with them, and then what's the result of that, which can also be really, really useful. There are so many more reports that you will have access to. I've literally highlighted 3 there. 100% go in, have a play, click on some of them, see what data they're pulling through, and choose what's going to be most useful to you, and save that down on some dashboards. The filtering we have been through there as I was talking. I feel like I rushed that last bit a little bit to get to.
I was just trying to find out the answer to Hannah's question from earlier, which was about copying company and contact values over. The only way I can do it, because it's really easy with a profession with workflows, because you just copy the company value over, and it's a really simple workflow that you can set up. I can't find a way in which you can do it through the simple automation with HubSpot and copy company values over and syncing
Mm,
details. I'm pretty sure you do
Only
need a
professional only.
professional only level subscription for that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um, let me go back and let's see what we can do. You just on the reports there. I think on the questions here, Emma asked, "How can you show us how to set up dashboards?"
Yes, I can. So to create a dashboard, all you'll need to do, I just come out of here, is come into the reporting tab, into dashboards, and then simply click create dashboard. You can either do that from scratch with no reports on, or you can create one of the default ones. Once you've got the dashboard set up, you're then in the create report section. All you need to do is save this report, choose which dashboard you want it to go to, add it on, and then it will be there on that dashboard so you can see everything all in one place.
So I'm going to come back to some other little bits and
Fine.
pieces now. So Moses asked a little while ago, how would you suggest building a pipeline from individuals in the system who've made inquiries in the last 2 years?
Okay, so when it comes to building a pipeline, it's really going to be based on what your sales process is. So what I always would want to do is to sit down and understand what the steps you want to take those people through are going to be. So do you want to, where do you want to start with them? What's the next thing you need them to do, and what's the end point? And then start populating that full of data for people that meet that criteria that you want to take through that journey. So it's going to be on a very case by case basis, and this is something we help companies with all the time.
Mm.
We sit down with you and help design what those pipelines should look like and the most efficient way of doing that. So that's something we could definitely look at together.
Absolutely. I think as well, if obviously, if I've understood this right, it's also I suppose, could be a languaging thing as well with a pipeline, because obviously what might be better here, if you just want a list of everyone that's made an inquiry over the last two
Mm,
years, which is how I took it, is that's quite straightforward to do. But that's a list. You wouldn't necessarily create a separate pipeline for that. The
mm,
pipeline is the fundamental sales process that those inquiries would go through, rather than um, a list of people that have made an inquiry in the last 2 years, so to speak.
yeah.
Okay. So I think that's covered there. Simon has asked, do you build the automated email in the email sections? You know, in the simple automation you're talking about with
Yeah.
the email workflows, or is it a free type email?
It used to be a free type email. It is now within the normal email area. You will have the option to either save that as a regular email or an automated email, and then you can use that in those simple workflows. So yeah, through the email section.
Perfect. That's good. So Igor's asked a couple of questions. Hi, Igor. Met you yesterday. Can you please give us an overview on the data protection side of things? Information entered in HubSpot is exclusively private to the customer, utilized by HubSpot for any commercial purposes.
Okay, big question. Now we will be able to share over some of the like legal documents from HubSpot that will go into that in tons more detail, exactly how everything's used. But my understanding of it is that it is fully GDPR compliant. It does
Mhm.
everything that it needs to do in that side of things, and it enables you to have that data privately. You can even set up restrictions within your account as to who can see which records and things like that. And HubSpot aren't using that data um, for those kind of reasons. But there will be a ton of legal documents we can send on that as well, Igor, if that is helpful.
Yeah, and if you go to HubSpot's website, they'll tell you a lot about how they use
Yeah.
the data and things like that. Also, I'd like to have an overview of how AI is used in HubSpot. It's a big topic. Um,
Yeah, that's a whole webinar in itself,
yeah,
that is, isn't it, Andy?
absolutely. Yeah. That it's coming. You know, we've got the Breeze AI tool that's becoming really popular. So it's, you know, if we having this discussion last year, it probably would have been quite a simple conversation. Now it's an entire webinar, probably two or three as
Yeah.
well. To be perfectly honest, so it's something that we can. It's probably not for necessarily for today because we can go into so much detail, but there's so much that it can do, and it's incredibly powerful as well.
Mm,
Um, so we can come back to that. Noel has asked if I want to import the contacts in Excel to HubSpot. Does that mean I don't need to preset properties in advance?
Oh, I think we might have already answered that one.
Yeah, we
But
might have
in
reposted it,
essence,
but
you could do it either way, Noel. You could either do it on the spreadsheet, or you could then edit them once they're in HubSpot. Depending on what's gonna be easiest to edit, really. You could do it either way.
yeah, because when you import the Excel, you'll get into the sort of the mapping section, and you can add the properties there and then
Mm,
if they're not existing previously
yeah,
as well. Moses again, best way to create a list from individuals in the system who have made inquiries in last year. We've answered that one. I've covered that one. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Populated that.
And then
And
there was
the
one question on the chat that I don't think we've got back to from Carl that says HubSpot has a low tolerance for high percentage bounce backs during email marketing. If you were to integrate into MailChimp, send email campaigns, and you have a lot of bounce backs because of large emailing lists, will you still be measured within HubSpot? So as I understand it, no, you wouldn't be. You would still get the data in HubSpot as to who's opened it, who's bounced, that kind of thing, but it shouldn't affect then your email sending within HubSpot. It's just worth being aware that it will still be going through your domain, through MailChimp or through HubSpot. So it might still be having an impact on your kind of email sending authority overall, but it wouldn't put anything in place where it's going to uh, ban you from sending emails in HubSpot or anything like that, which HubSpot can do if you're getting too many bounce backs within its own tool. So that's definitely an option for you, Carl.
yeah, because you're not technically sending the emails through HubSpot. You're using Mailchimp
You're
to do
using
it. So
MailChimp. Yeah,
I think,
exactly.
have we covered everything? I want to go back a little bit because I just want to double check.
We've just had one more from Noel whilst you're doing that, Andy. Does the starter version have the function for sending promotion emails by groups and in A/B tests? So yes, you can do segmented down emails. You can create lists of people, you can send emails out to them and kind of segment that down. However, you can't do A/B testing on the starter
Oh,
version. That does need Marketing Hub Professional for that to do the A/B testing. But the segmentation, grouping people down, absolutely, you can do all of that in
mm,
starter.
absolutely. Lots of questions today.
There's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
It's good stuff though.
No, it
Good
is. I
stuff.
like it. Yeah. Um, well, I think we're up to date with everyone. I think. If anyone has any further questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat or in the actual Q&A section as well, which we've covered, which has been great.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as the questions have illustrated, there is so much to cover in this. We probably need a little bit longer this morning, I think.
Mm,
But it's been really hopefully today's been really useful. We've been through a lot. Okay. There is a huge benefit to HubSpot Starter. So if you have the free tool, okay, I would strongly recommend purchasing the starter platform,
mm.
okay, because it has so many benefits. You know, even just simply that with free, you have the HubSpot branding on everything, on whether that's a form, whether it's the live chat. You with the paid version on emails as well, one-to-one emails that is. Um, with the paid version, it removes all of that,
Yeah.
and I think that's worth.
That on its own is worth the what, £18 a month, did we say this morning for starter?
Yeah, it's £14 a month if you pay annually, but £18
Yeah.
a month if you don't.
Your monthly billing. Yeah.
So, and also as well, I would say a lot of our clients that we work with will start on the start. We work with a lot of small businesses. So
Yeah.
from a marketing perspective, a lot of them will start on that starter bundle. Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of them will upgrade because as our previous webinars have illustrated, there are so many tools, so many things that the
Mm.
professional subscription levels come in.
Even
Okay.
through the questions we've had today, right, it's highlighted some of the areas where starter's not going to do quite what you want it to do. And for that, it might be worth considering whether that professional upgrade is worthwhile to get that one or two specific features
Mm.
that you need. It can be really, really valuable for that.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, if there are things that you want to do but are being restricted because you're not on the
Mm.
right level of subscription or whatever it might be, what I would highly recommend is coming to me or Emma to
Yeah.
talk about it, okay? And we can help best advise on the right way forward, okay? Because there we can be a little bit creative in getting you where you need to be, okay, as opposed to going directly to HubSpot as well. A
Yeah.
couple more questions have popped in. So Jason's and Sonics. Jared said we can't have HubSpot removed from the website download emails that we receive.
We can double check with that, Jason, to understand the context behind that.
Yeah.
Um, it might be that you're on a legacy package or something with HubSpot, so we can have a little look at that. I can catch up with Jared about that specifically after this. So we'll be in touch on that one.
Yeah.
And then Caroline has asked, did you say the professional was £14 if you paid annually?
No.
No,
Starter.
starter is £14 per month if you pay annually.
Yes.
Professional, I would say starts from around 70 a month now, 77 I think it is
Sales
for
professional.
sales
Yeah.
professional.
And that's kind of where lots of our clients would go, is that they'd have the starter bundle, but they'd add a sales professional seat, which gets the entry level into the kind of the more custom automation things as well. Obviously, when you go into marketing professional, that's where you get into the real kind of workflows, bespoke workflows, and that's when obviously the cost will significantly increase because you get so much more
So much more.
for that as well. And we've done lots of webinars in the last year and all the cool stuff that HubSpot does at professional level as well. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
is pro bill per seat? Very good question. It wasn't a year ago. It is now.
Yeah.
To put it in that context. So the seat model is done for sales and service.
hmm
Okay. So HubSpot has moved into a seat model. Okay. So what you have is what you call free seat, which is basically a view only seat. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you have unlimited view only seats. So you can add as many users as you want who can view the HubSpot system. They can't make any changes to it though. Okay.
Mm.
So if you want, anyone wanting to make edits, can't make any changes to that. You can have a
hmm
limited one of those. You then have core seats, which is someone that is a specific user who can do everything and use the CRM as it would be. You get one of those per hub on starter bundle.
Yeah.
Okay. To take advantage of the discounted price with the starter bundle, it just works into one seat. Okay. So
Yeah.
then it's £14 per seat on top of that. But with sales seats, that's per seat. So if you have a sales professional seat, that would work on that, and you can buy in one or two.
Yeah.
Previously, you'd have to buy 5 as a minimum, whereas now you can just buy one or two.
One or
Okay,
two.
and the
Yeah.
same with Service Hub as well.
Lately. Holly's also asked, can viewer seats make calls and emails? No, they can't. Obviously, they can send an email still, but it can't be logged into HubSpot
No, yeah.
from their Outlook or anything like that. So no, it is literally just viewing the information.
Richard's asked the LinkedIn integration. You need Sales Navigator Advanced Plus for it to work. You do indeed. Okay.
Yeah.
It is a common question that I get asked. So I have a Sales Navigator account. I'm the only one at JDR that has a Sales Navigator account. So therefore, it's just the basic version. The Advanced Plus, when I looked at it last with Advanced Plus, there was a minimum seat purchase. So you need a sales professional license to provide the integration on HubSpot, but you need a Sales Navigator Advanced Plus subscription. Okay, that is a significant increase in price
Yeah.
from the core edition. Okay, and from when I spoke to LinkedIn last, you have to buy a minimum of 10 licenses as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That I think that's changed though,
Mm.
because I've noticed now that you're able to actually do the upgrade yourself. So don't hold me to that, because I haven't had a conversation with LinkedIn for probably about 18 months, 2 years. So I think they may have actually moved that down into a lower package, because you basically had to talk to the sales team at LinkedIn to get, and it was like minimum 10 user license to get the Advanced Plus one. So if you've got the Advanced Plus one, you can do great things on the Sales Pro, because with sequencers, we did a whole webinar on sequencers, but you can then automate like link connection requests and send email messages automatically through HubSpot as well, which is really cool. But you need to pay
Yeah,
LinkedIn a fair bit of money, unfortunately.
Jason has asked, are free seats able to receive email tickets? I believe that free seats can receive notifications through HubSpot, but they won't be able to be set up as like the owner of a ticket or move tickets through stages or anything like that. So they'll be able to be aware that it's come in, see it, but then not actively do anything with it to actually edit it. So yes and no is kind of the answer to that question, Jason.
Okay. I
I
think we're all there,
think
aren't we?
we've got through all of the questions
Oh
there.
no, just as we, yeah,
Just as we
Emma's
said
there. Emma's there.
it.
Can you integrate your LinkedIn account to HubSpot Starter?
Not from a perspective of kind of messaging through LinkedIn, things like that, but you are able to connect it up to your LinkedIn ads, for instance,
Yeah,
and that sort of thing. And you can't do social posting through
that's marketing professional.
Starter as well because that is marketing professional. So again, yes and no, Emma.
You can
um,
connect it. It doesn't really do a lot in
no,
truth. It's just if you're doing LinkedIn advertising, you can integrate that. But as
that's
Emma
about
said,
it.
that's about it at this point at that
Yeah.
level. Um, not a problem, Emma. No need to apologise. We're here. That's what we're here for. We always like to stick around afterwards for any questions
Make
that
sure we
people
get all
have.
the questions.
If you have any further ones, afterwards, feel free to send them on email to us. We're more than
Yeah.
happy to take a look at it. As I say, I'll probably just do it again one more time. I'll put my link to my diary on as well, so you can all book a call with me if you want. If you've got some specific questions or you want maybe a demo of the platform if you're not using HubSpot, more than happy to go through that with
Mm.
you as well on a one-to-one basis and answer any specific questions you've got. So, but hopefully that's been of use. We're back next month to discuss what we're going to discuss next month. I think
I believe we're
integration.
talking about
I think
integrations
we
in a lot
are,
more
yeah.
detail. So we've kind of started that ball rolling a little bit today, touched on some of that. We're going to go into that in a little bit more detail next month as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So, yeah, that's a big topic as well that we can go
Lots
through.
to go
So,
into.
yeah. But yeah, thanks everyone for attending. A little bit
Thanks,
longer
everyone.
today. I know I said we'd done by 11 o'clock, but I think it's been fairly, interactive. So it's all been worthwhile. Recording will be sent round. But
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for everyone today, and hopefully you'll see you all next month. All right.
Thanks,
Bye for now.
everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.